Too crazy.
Nothing too crazy.
The sun is shining, shining, nice and bright, bright. The birds are chirping, chirping,
and I'm ready to fly.
Time to get ready, ready
for another day.
Hey, no one can stop us. Oh, we gon' learn to play. Oh, every day we learn and play.
We do our best, so we'll be great.
Oh, 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 oh. You do your best, best,
and I don't mind.
So let's get ready, ready, ready. 'Cause it's about that time. Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, what do you do? Good morning, time to be great. Good morning, time to wake. Good morning,
your dance and play.
Good morning,
so start today.
Good morning, open your eyes. Good morning,
reach for the sky.
Morning, 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 morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. How do you do? Good morning, 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 morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, 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 morning. How do you do?
Good morning.
You see me on my grind.
Woo. Stars got to shine.
I'm a supernova.
Yeah, you see me taking over. Yeah,
I'm on the move. I got a way to shine to it. So let me hear you say,
Every day we gonna work, play, have fun, and stay away from the coronavirus. This is rolling out AM Wake Up Call. I'm Lexi Steve, and we've got Terry Shropshire and the first King James, of course, the wonderful, smart, intelligent, and of course, HU graduate. It is Cass in the city, and
Good morning.
Georgia Tech is in the house with Romeo International.
Yeah.
You talk about it. All those engineers and jackets make a difference in life. How's everybody doing today?
Good. How are you guys?
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it is a great day, Cass.
Definitely. It's actually Blackout Day 2020. So we definitely, want to encourage everyone to only spend and support Black businesses today. Very important. So make sure you guys support that. It's actually trending right now on Twitter. So we want to make sure that we encourage everyone, let your families know, your friends know, support Black businesses today.
I'm all about it. I am all about it. Don't know, you can go online and buy Little Professor Sky. Just in case you didn't know, you can go buy Little Professor Sky. Hey, Shirley Carter. What's going on, Shirley Carter? I cannot say how much we appreciate you. So let me say it right now. We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
And rollingout.com, Rolling Out family. We want everybody to start the day off with good energy. Start the day.
I got on some orange, I didn't drink the orange juice. I put it on. Gonna be brighten up the day for sure. That's what's happening.
So you rocking your orange, I'm rocking purple.
Yeah.
James rocking and yellow. Cass got her cascading light again. Where did she get this light? Where is this?
Well, she got a new spot. She coming in from a new spot and nice and bright. Up today. We gotta know.
Switch it up on y'all. One time.
You know what?
One time. Sorry.
I've never seen somebody get cascaded light with a room that got no windows. Like how? Like this is. Let me stop.
Yeah, it's all about the lighting. You gotta get your lighting right.
Oh man.
I think it's happening. Our mayor. What do you think about that? Our mayor. We gotta pray for her.
Absolutely.
Gotta pray for her. Pray for protection. Terry?
Yeah, I agree. Pray for protection for our mayor. Yes, absolutely.
Got anything to add to that? I only know 4-letter words like S, M, U, G, I don't know any of the big words, but we definitely want to send our prayers out to her and her family right now. It is a huge issue. No surprise, been called out in the community a ton and clearly in pain. So It's real. I hope those that have been turning up now that see that there's another victim.
Yeah, I think we've known it's real, and if everybody who watches Rolling Out Health IQ, you keep up with the information, you know it's real. I think what's happening is it's getting closer and closer to people. Like when it gets closer to people that you actually know or recognize, then you're like, okay, hold up for a second. So
Definitely. I actually saw people like who I follow on Instagram, like people I know have been out and stuff, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, wow! Like the mayor has COVID, da da da. Like this is real, you know." So I think you're right about that. That kind of factor of it being closer to home makes people realize how serious it is. So hopefully we'll.
That was a silent movie.
And then it's the same for King James. King James wrote a great loving message. Am I good? Okay, King James wrote a great loving message on behalf of Rolling Out to Ricky Smiley, and I saw a lot of celebrities and people commenting under his video, and the one thing he said in the video that stuck out was the reason that he went live. He wanted to give people a real raw view what people go through and let people know that it's not a joke, gun violence. You know, we still want everybody to start off with good energy, but you know, between gun violence and COVID and the National Guard, I heard the National Guard is coming to Atlanta.
Yeah, I heard that as well. Very crazy. Brought in by our governor.
Oh, he's such a great guy.
Yes, so it's a lot going on, you know, with everything today. So
Absolutely.
Well, you know, we just want everybody to stay prayed up, ready, good energy, and we want everybody to keep rolling out with your mask on. Roll out with your mask on. Let me back up. Roll out with your mask on. That's gonna be the new hashtag. Roll out with your mask on.
yeah, definitely.
I agree. So what you listen to, Cass, here's some recommendations for those who want to start their day with a little bit of meditation music or motivation music.
When I wake up, I don't listen to music. I just get up and get going, honestly. But I know a lot of people do. I don't know. I'm just really focused in the morning. It depends. Like if it's a weekend, then I'm like, okay, let me put on a little mix, a little playlist, but not during the week. I gotta get up, get focused. But I do have a praise playlist.
Oh,
so
what's on your praise playlist?
Probably be that. Who's on it? Let's see. Yes. Some Kurt Franklin on there.
Let's see. I'm gonna go to it.
Kurt Franklin.
I got Marvin Sapp on there.
Marvin Sapp, Charles Jenkins.
Yes. Fred Hammond, one of my favorites. So
Fred Hammond. What's your favorite Fred Hammond song?
This Is the Day. You Are the Living Word are two of my favorites.
You Are the Living Word. Fred Hammond out of Detroit.
You don't got that new Rolling Out records on there? You don't got that one?
Is it on iTunes?
Trust in Him. No, be on iTunes in 3 weeks.
Okay. Well, when it drops, I would definitely add it to my playlist.
Trust in Him.
Stop messing with cats.
We ought to watch a Trust in Him video or something.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Definitely need it this morning.
Hey guys, I'm surprised she ain't waking up to Beyonce and soft angelic voice in the morning time.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. On the weekend, maybe when I'm like getting ready, but like when I first wake up, I'm not putting on music.
Oh man, okay.
I mean, I know people do, but it takes me a minute to get into it.
It's good to have a format. I'm with you. It's not my first move, but it's probably my second. My first, obviously, is prayer and meditation because I want to tap in. I don't want to be sitting alone. So really, I respect what you're saying. I think it makes a difference in the day to be able to pray and meditate. And then based on Carrie, I do my little breathing and you know, there's a new book out called Breathe. And it really talks about how important it is and how you can actually get away from breathing machines if you begin to breathe and train your body to go through your nose.
Right.
We really need to practice breathing through our noses to connect our lungs and our body and increase the capacity for us to breathe. So it's a real experiment, but it has healed people, breathing, retraining our lungs on how to breathe through our nose. So it's to control our mood, our breathing controls so much to healing us. So it's really critical. So I understand why Carrie from Yo Organic Flow, Yo Organic Flow.
I actually tried. I think you brought it up. I think I tried you said you wake up in the morning and sometimes you just lay there and like make sure every part of your body is up, or what do you said you do something in the morning time where you just wake up, you lay there.
Yeah.
You let your body
just focus, just quiet your mind. Stretch and just quiet your mind. And, well, it's not finished at all, but let's just look a bit. Cass, we haven't added the singer in, and we're just playing with some actors, but how about a little bit of trust in him?
Let's get into it.
Okay. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. That's definitely not it. I sent it to the producer. I've sent it to her.
Shut up.
We have some new images, Romeo. We work real hard to have a great trust in him experience. Still not even finished. We're trying to let Shirley see it. Shirley, this is for you. This is a new on our inspiring CD that comes out about peace and purpose, which Cass. It's there. We have done it. Do you want it in the email? Do you want it in whichever way you want it? We'll send it.
And just to let y'all, and just to follow up with y'all, just to let y'all know, we are really on this peace and purpose, this post with a purpose movement. Like every day we encourage everybody to create a post with a purpose. Whatever the purpose is, as long as it's sending out good vibes to the world. Like we really encourage people. So
good vibes.
Shout out to D Turner checking in.
Hey D, what's going on? Terry, shout out D.
Lisa Baker.
You were loud enough.
Lisa Baker. Terry, I'm gonna be real loud for Lisa. She's a friend of mine, Terry. Hey Lisa.
I'm glad that you got some friends, Munson. We're happy for you.
Well, shout out to everyone who's checking in this morning. Thank you for joining us on Rolling Out AM. We have an exciting show for you guys, some exciting guests. We have some hot topics we're going to talk about. We can actually, do some trending stuff as we wait. So let's just get into that. There's a lot of crazy stuff trending right now. In fact, every day is something crazy. Don Lemon is actually trending because, as we know, Terry Crews has been making these kind of outlandish statements. Terry, you can speak to this, just wild statements about the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's going on, and saying like Black supremacist is a thing and all these crazy things.
Yeah.
And every day he's kind of getting canceled. So he goes on CNN and talking to Don Lemon, and Don Lemon kind of, lets him know, like, this is what the Black Lives Matter movement is. You talking about another movement. So we have that video. We can pull it up if we have time. But
yeah, he brought his buffoonery show to CNN, and so let's take a look at that.
Terry,
I became sick. Like if I told you to wear a mask,
Terry,
they want to kick you out.
You're a high-profile person. You're writing things out there. You know you're going to get backlash. You know people are going to respond to what you're saying on Twitter. So I don't think you should be surprised by that. I have a skin as tough as an armadillo because of what I do, and I think maybe you should adapt that. But here's what I have to say. The Black Lives Matter movement was started because it was talking about police brutality. If you want an all Black Lives Matter movement that talks about gun violence in communities, including, Black communities, then start that movement with that name. But that's not what Black Lives Matter is about. It's not an all-encompassing. So if you're talking about, if someone started a movement that said, cancer matters, and then someone comes in and said, why aren't you talking about HIV? It's not the same thing. We're talking about cancer. So the Black Lives Matter movement is about police brutality and injustice in that manner, not about what's happening in black neighborhoods. There are people who are working on that issue, and if you want to start that issue, why don't you start it? Do you understand what I'm saying?
But when you look at the organization, police brutality is not the only thing they're talking about.
I know that. I agree, but that's not what the Black Lives Matter movement is about, Terry. Black Lives Matter is about police brutality and about criminal justice. It's not about what happens in communities when it comes to crime, black on black crime. People who live near each other, black people, kill each other. Same as whites. 80-some% of white people are killed by white people. True. Because of proximity.
Very true.
It's the same thing with black people. That happens in every single neighborhood. But that doesn't, again, I'm not saying that's not important that those kids died, but it's a different movement.
Hey, get your boy.
So, Terry, Romeo, Munson, what do you guys think about this?
I mean, I just think he's doing a very good job of ingratiating himself with his white benefactors, and that he has done that. He has demonstrated, he has exemplified that throughout the years, including with America's Got Talent. And he's just one of those people who has used, once again, the black platform to become famous and then do a good job of separating himself from that very platform that brought him fame. So he came to fame through Ice Cube's Friday after next. And ever since then, he has done a great job of aligning himself with people who do not care, who have operated against black people. And he was doing that again yesterday. So that's my thoughts. I just think that he's a total, I don't want to say the word. I just think that he is not operating in the best interest of black people. He is speaking to his paychecks, which are written by white people. That's who he's speaking to. Terry Crews is speaking to his paychecks written by white people.
This is why I love rolling out AM Morning Show, Cassidy, because King James can say very good stuff like that, but I don't have to. Look, if somebody don't get this idiot, hey man, get your boy. Hey, where's the one friend or where's the one celebrity that's like, hey man, get your boy? Like,
I don't know, where the family, where the friends, or I don't know.
Well, let's bring on our dear beloved where we can find some peace and purpose, because clearly we can just cancel homeboy and move on.
Carrie, get your boy. Get your boy, Carrie.
Definitely have to take a deep breath after listening to Terry Crews. Honestly, that type of stuff is unreal. He doesn't even have a clue what Black supremacy is. What is that? It's not even a thing.
It doesn't exist.
Exactly.
It doesn't even exist. Like, it's interesting. I'm reading a book right now. I don't know if you've read it, the autobiography of Assata Shakur. And
yes, I have.
He really was about that life. Terry Crews needs to read up on some Black people who are really about that life. He has a clue about
and the thing about it, Carrie, is that the Black people did not invent that word. That's why I know that he's listening. He's got a lot of people whispering in his ear who are white, who are paying his paychecks. And so he spends a lot of time around them, and they invented the word Black supremacy. And then he regurgitates. He is not a free thinker. He does not think on his own. He is being pulled by strings, and he is having people think for him. And all he is doing is just regurgitating what they're pounding down his throat. And so, he's a tool. He's being used.
And I hope that he can take some time to do some inner work and really look within and realize that he is a Black man, and we are not going to receive our liberation with him saying and doing what he's doing right now.
Well, he's one of the people that during the Underground Railroad, he's one of those people where it's just like, okay, we can't talk to him about our plans. We can't include him on the meeting.
He was the what do you call it? He was helping the slave catchers, basically.
Massa, we sick?
Yeah.
Like Angela Rice says, not all folk are kinfolk. So, we just have to breathe on it and try to educate and inspire people as much as we can. There's something might not be missing, or he might be missing, or something he doesn't understand. And hopefully more Black people will get not only in education in our history, but some education in self-love and how to care for ourselves during this time. Because when you hear stuff like his comments and you hear people on the news, whether it be CNN or Fox, whatever the news station is, it can just be a lot on our mental health. And right now it's Minority Mental Health Month. So it's especially important that we do what we can to stay present. Do you guys have an idea what that means? Like, I feel like that's a very yogic term, to stay present.
I've been present since July. We talked about this. It's July, Carrie.
What does that mean to you, Romeo, being present?
I'm switching my mindset. I'm only being present of the day. I'm only taking each day for what it is and riding with the day. Because if you think outside of the day, you'll be August Alsina and Marching Stone Mountain and with the day. So that's what I think about when I think about being in the present, being in the day. There you go. There my partner go.
Welcome to the show.
How you feel in the present moment, Munson?
Well, I think it's important that we're able to live in the now. And I think there have been quite a few writings. I think breathing, watching your breath allows you to be in the presence of your spirit, of the presence of your soul, and reflect inward and not be captivated by the noise. You can actually be in the now and understand that the only thing you can deal with is the present. So it allows you not to take yourself back. You can shed guilt immediately if you live in the present, because you do not have to take baggage that is in yesterday and live right here and forgive yourself and live in purpose. So I have no clue about what it is you're saying about it, but there have been several books, and you can share them, that talk about being in the present, being in the now, the power of now. So I'm not certain. I think some of those are not as new. I think preachers preach and they just don't use the term now. I think the fact that he captivated now, it's already in most songs. When you have trust in him, it says, leading your burdens. And that's all about, like, drop it, drop it right now. Don't pick it up, forgive yourself, move on, apologize. I mean, being present is to apologize quickly. Don't wait. Don't hurt somebody and then know it and then go in your feelings and try to find a place and just not be someplace else other than present. Just like, you know what? I'm wrong. I'm really here. I apologize and move on. So I have no clue what it is, the now, but always happy. Listen to a great NPR breathing program. So, you can tape your mouth, Carrie, and sleep with your mouth taped and learn to breathe through your nose. And it was a whole situation. And of course, the omnipresence of Carrie and breathing and the importance of. So I really enjoyed it, and obviously thought and sent you light and love. So organic flow.
Breathing through your nose is everything, guys. I feel like we've talked about it here. Cass, do you remember that? And how are you feeling presently?
I'm good. I feel good. Just like Romeo said, every day, take it day by day.
I would even say moment by moment, y'all, because right now, I saw a meme that was like, you could be Black and having a wonderful day, and then you hear about the police killing someone. And I'm like, wow, that's so true. That literally happened to me. I was having a great day, celebrating a family member's birthday, with mask on, Munson, and socially distancing. And I got home, and that was the day that happened with Elijah. So I really had to take a moment and breathe. And try to be in the moment, because when we think about the past or something outside of our control like that, just too much past, we're in this state of fear, these forms of fear where we feel unease, worry, anxiety, tension, stress. All of these things I felt after a fun day of my family. I just became overwhelmed with that. So I immediately needed to sit down and breathe when I got home. Like, this is just too much, it's just yay, we're so happy. And now I got to hear this and I'm back down here and I'm wondering when Breonna's killers are going to be arrested. So, it's a lot. So it's really important for us to breathe and bring ourselves to the now so we can try to manage our emotions around the past and strengthen our mind so we can deal with that and be strategic and organized and be strong and not give up on our fight towards liberation. But we can't do that if we're all over the place. So it's good to be calm, to breathe, and strengthen our minds.
Well, I'm definitely ready to breathe since I couldn't breathe last week. But I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna get out my feelings. Get out my feelings.
Well, you done taught him enough about breathing. He could do a little breathing exercise on his own.
Well, let's get into it. Let's try a round of breath through the nose. Let's do exactly what Munson talked about on NTR. We can imagine that we're not just taping, but gluing our lips together so we can breathe more effectively through our noses. So let's go ahead, find our comfortable seat. Straighten your spine, stack the spine over your pelvis, and let your hands rest in your lap. And then go ahead and relax your eyes closed. You don't always have to keep your eyes closed to practice pranayama, which is a breathing exercise. And Romeo, if it's better for you to keep the eyes open, that's cool too. You can gaze right over the tip of your nose, but it's easier for us to focus our mind and our attention with our eyes closed. So from here, we'll work on expanding our lung capacity. Take a deep breath in, fill up both of your lungs for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in, fill up both lungs, your belly, your chest, even the throat. Exhale, release your breath out slowly. Good. Inhale, breathe in for 3 seconds. Exhale, release your breath out for 4 seconds. Deep breath in, watch it as it inflates the frontal plane of your body. Exhale as you release your breath, your tension. Slowly open your eyes. We just did a short little breathing exercise there, a retained breath. It's been a while since we tried that one. So let me know how your lungs feel, how it felt for you today.
For me, it's always like it's a different feeling just using your nose, like consciously just using your nose and not like breathing out through the mouth. So it feels good, but you definitely like it's something different that you're not used to. So you feel that expansion and like when you exhale, but it feels good afterwards. That's definitely something you have to work on, I think.
100% something to work on. And maybe your first 10 times, it's a big challenge for you. Because a lot of times people breathe through their mouths and they do really shallow breathing. So it is a practice to breathe through your nose as you lift it, Cass.
Yes.
How about you guys? Romeo, you're making all sorts of faces.
I'm just, it's a new experience. I know it's different for me and Mr. Steve because, we're runners. So it's like you train yourself one way to breathe when you run. You know what I'm saying? Like you to keep your pace, you train yourself one way to breathe normally, and that normally calms you down. This is more relaxing to me, I guess, kind of subsiding me down, calming the Romeo down. That's what this breath is doing. It's calming the Romeo down.
Romeo, thanks for sharing that. I actually used to run cross country in my high school days. And I used to do a count that was like, breathe in 2 seconds, breathe out 2 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, and it would always give me so much energy. So as a runner, you're still doing breathing exercises all the time. This is just a different kind of breathing exercise. But thanks for sharing that. And now I know I really got to get you and Munson on the mat since you guys are runners, because runners can especially benefit from yoga by stretching your hamstrings and quads. So we'll talk more about that.
You don't want this smoke from us?
Listen. Munson, how about you? How did you feel with the breathing? Even though I know you did your breathing when you woke up this morning.
It was a little short. I wanted at least 3 minutes. You know, you kind of got us all teased up, and we did this 30-second breathing for a 15 to 30-minute segment. I was a little teed off and felt.
Oh my God. That, you know what that means? He needs to turn off his camera and go breathe right now alone.
Nah, it's always a pleasure. I don't know that it isn't an added benefit. You know, I'm caught up on the other things that you shared, like making sure my stomach goes out and then my lungs come in when I'm breathing out. So, you know, I'm just working on the mechanics that you shared, which have been so meaningful to my practice. Thank you very much, Yo Organic Flow, and Carrie, for what you've given. So I enjoy any moment that, you know, it's one of those things now, you know, I'm almost like, hey, let's Zoom and breathe together, you know.
Right.
Let's breathe, y'all. Let's just do some breathing. And it's so beautiful to add self-care to rolling out AM, the wake-up call, because self-care is really what we want our community to see.
Yes.
The distinguishing factors, the love factor that radiates not only from you, from Romeo and Cass, that there is hope, that there's a better way to approach life, and that there are many mechanisms that we all can, you know, practices. So when people follow you, they get it, and they're following healers. I think the fact is, are you posting with a purpose, and are you giving our community tips to heal, or are you adding to the noise? Because it was prayers up, you know, when you see somebody, the givers, a Ricky Smiley, the givers of a mother and a mayor and a woman who has had to be a leader and had to sacrifice, and then know that, you know, who's helping her to breathe during this moment, and her lungs. Has she been practicing a program so that her lungs have bigger capacity, given that, you know, the more they learn about, you know, how it attacks your lungs, how it attacks the cell membranes, the whole, you know, the science behind this COVID as they're studying it, you know, your lungs are so critical.
Yes, they are. So
and oxygen plays such a role to healing the body.
With that gives me an idea. I think on Thursday, I will connect with you all at one of my favorite parks in Detroit, Lafayette Park, so I can be outdoors and really soak in some of this fresh air and oxygen, and literally give you a close up of how your rib cage and belly should look when you practice these breathing exercises. So happy that you shared that, because I do think it's really important for us to connect with nature and really focus on the way in which we're breathing, the technique in which we're breathing when we're trying these breathing exercises. So thank you for sharing that. And everybody, I strongly encourage you to get outside. Everything is interconnected. We get this life-giving breath from trees, from the grass, from the plants, even get you an aloe plant to increase the oxygen in your homes. So do whatever you can to stimulate and strengthen your lungs, especially at this time with coronavirus going rampant. So thank you for sharing that. And I'll see you outside on Thursday. I'm looking forward to that.
D Turner checked in.
Shout out to the D.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
Relaxation. I'm sorry.
D
Turner from Facebook checked in. She said, "Thank you, Your Organic Flow. Even though it's relaxation, maybe you can do a segment during the day with her." She said she needs to breathe in the middle of the day too. So
hey, I would love that. You know what? I just posted, speaking of posting with the purpose, I just posted a little picture and video of myself at this coffee shop next door, just breathing. I had a very stressful week last week, lots of deadlines for grants, et cetera, because the Organic Flow is community-based. So we're constantly fundraising, and I had tons to do. I literally just had to pause in between all the meetings and writing and just take deep breaths. I literally did what we just did, to calm myself down and to get back focused. Or otherwise, I don't know what I would have did at that coffee shop.
4 plus 4 plus 4. Did you do 4 plus 4 plus 4?
Terry, what?
Did you do the 4 plus 4 plus 4? You know what I'm saying? Breathe, stop for 4, hold for 4, let go for 4.
Yes. You need to
Okay.
come back and do it instead of ask and practice, Terry.
Yes, ma'am.
Please.
Hey, Cass.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Carrie, so much. Let everybody know where they can catch up with you and everything before you get out of here.
Everyone, you can follow Yoganic Flow on Facebook, Instagram, or also subscribe to our YouTube channel to try yoga anytime you like. We also have a meditation video up and look forward to adding some breathing exercises. So hopes to connect with everybody online and maybe even in person if you're in Detroit. Thanks so much, everybody.
Take care.
Just watch our Trust in Him video. Every now and then we get one of those. And thank you so much, Terry. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, Winston.
Get him.
Namaste, everybody.
Bye. Namaste.
Every now and then we'll get one to pop, maybe, sometimes. Oh, I needed that, man. Rolling Out AM.
Always good to breathe.
Rolling Out Music presents Trust in Him. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, Jesus!
Trust in Him and let Him know what's wrong. Take His hand and keep holding on. Trust in Him, just like the Bible says. Be of service, and you won't regret. Cause He got power that you'll never see.
Oh, man.
And He got power that you can't conceive. And He's got love for every one of us. All you really got to do is you just gotta trust. Give it up to Him. Give it up right now. Give it up to Him. Give it up right now. Give it up to Him. Give it up right now. Give it up to Him. Give it up right now. Trust in Him. Don't you dare doubt. Bring your burdens to the altar and lay them down. Yeah. If you want peace, He can guarantee. Yeah. He do it for you, just like He did it for me. Cause He got power that you'll never see. And He's got power this world cannot conceive. And He's got love for every one of us. All you really got to do is you just gotta trust and give it up to Him. Give it up right now. So give it up to Him. Give it up right now. Now. Give it up to Him. Give it up right now. Give it up to Him. Oh, give it up right now. Don't you fight that Holy Ghost that move in your bones. Don't you fight that Holy Ghost, let it take control. Don't you fight that Holy Ghost, let it in your soul. Don't you fight that Holy Ghost, let it take control. Now give it up, 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 give it up. You got burdens, give them up. You got doubts, give them up. You got problems, give them up. Cause He got power, so give it up.
Hold on, man.
Okay.
Hold on, man. Time out. Where did the whole band come from, man? Where did
All black band. That's what's up.
the band, the backup singers, the drums? Time out, man. Where did
They're
this
working
group
on it. They got a couple versions going. I just wanted y'all to see.
Man, that's hot. I was like,
yeah, we got the one with the signs. They left the signs out. They're just playing with it right now. We're having fun with it.
Nah, that was dope, man. I like the kickoff. 1, 2, 3, Jesus, and then it just goes straight to the song.
I had to sing that, boy. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, Jesus.
Oh man, you know what? Mr. Steve, Cass is finna hit me in the eye. Cass, you need to get in the band. You need to get in the band, Cass.
I think they got it.
Get in the band, Cass.
They sound good. They look good. I think they got it.
No, they didn't incorporate the signs yet. So they got probably 5 to 6 people around the country that did signs for us. So
well, good job,
holding up custom signs. So we're just testing on it. It'll be out in about 3 weeks, and then you got to include the singer. So the singer wasn't able to make that first shoot, so we got to go back to the studio, and so everybody can see me and the singer when we actually did our 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Jesus.
So me, Cass, and King James, we know you humble. Look, take these accolades. Great job, man. That's actually good job. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Romeo.
I really enjoyed it.
All right.
I really enjoyed it.
I'm excited to see the final thing when it drops.
Yeah, that's
you know what? I think I'm gonna make me a video tomorrow. I'm gonna make me a Trusting Him video.
Unsolicited.
You gotta do the remix. See, gotta do the remix. All right, Cass, go ahead and bring us on in. Give us your morning report, if you would, please. Roll out AM wake up call, Cass in the city.
Let's get into it. Starting off, for all you who like to order food from the comfort of your home, you should know that Postmates has been bought out, or is about to be bought out by Uber Eats for $2.6 billion. Billion, yeah. The rideshare company is trying to increase the food delivery market, internationally. They were initially looking to buy out Grubhub, but they were outbid by a European company. So this is a big change. There will no longer be Postmates. It'll be under the Uber Eats brand. So Uber is taking over for sure. Up next, we have interesting, very, very interesting. Kodak Black has decided to make some kind of apology statement after his horrible comments about Lauren London following the death of Nipsey Hussle. I don't know how I'm feeling about this. I think it's really late, but I mean, I guess people, have the ability to change and grow. So I guess shout out to him for the apology. I don't know, but we'll get y'all's thoughts on that. Florida, if you have vacations planned in Florida, I want you guys to know that the Miami-Dade County Mayor has decided he is about to shut down some gyms, short-term rentals, as well as restaurants, except for delivery and takeout. So this should go into effect tomorrow on Wednesday. So yeah, if you had little vacations, road trips, whatever, look to cancel that, because it's about to be, short quarantine going on again. Up next, we have birthdays. So we want to give a happy birthday to Cree Summer, the actress, 51 years old today. Shout out to her. The rapper who shares my name, Cassidy, is 38 years old today. Singer Seven Streeter is turning 34 today. And gospel artist Tasha Cobbs will be turning 39 today. So shout out to them. And happy birthday to everyone else who's celebrating today.
Hey, Seven.
Oh my goodness.
We got balloons, yeah. The cake is on the way. We got the music playing, cause it's your holiday. Woo! We invited family, and everybody came. I strike a pose for me like you in a picture frame. And you got your finest clothes on, and $1 million smile. So we gon' celebrate you for a while. And don't forget we got the candles when you away. Don't forget we got the candles. Happy birthday, gonna celebrate you for a while. Candles, blowing you away. Wait. Candles. Happy birthday, happy
happy, yeah. Happy, yeah. All right, Romeo, bring us on in and let us know what's going on. Great job, Cass. Love your report today.
Yeah, we definitely got to talk
Not a
about
problem.
COVID.
Yeah.
Rolling out AM. This is your rolling out social report with me. And wherever she take me, I'm gonna go because Kanye West, yes, Yeezy company received more than $2 million through the Paycheck Protection Program. The Small Business Administration disclosed on Monday. Now, I don't know what small business that Kanye West has to receive $2 million. But clearly, I'm in the wrong small business fund, Cass and King James, because I did not know that you could get $2 million through the Paycheck Protection Program. I need to find out about the program. So, congratulations to Kanye and to everybody else with small businesses who's not getting a check. Call Kanye. Next up, we got wherever you go. I'm gonna go with you. Prayers go out to Sebastian Telfair. Sebastian Telfair was one of the highly sought out high school basketball players during his time. Went to the NBA, did not fare well in the NBA, but recently his mother and brother died after battles with COVID-19. And from the story that I heard, that his mother caught it first, and I think his brother caught it a week later from taking care of his mother. And they both were quarantined in a New York hospital, and they just recently passed. So our prayers go out to him and his family, because that is something not to take. It is not a game, people. Put on a mask, people. Jay Prince, yes, the king of the other South, responds to NBA YoungBoy, you're a dumb boy with limited thinking ability and disrespectful. So I'm gonna give y'all the backstory. NBA YoungBoy got his house broken into. Jay Prince, being an OG, which OGs are supposed to do, got in contact with the people who broke into his house and said, hey, he's untouchable, bring his stuff back. The people brought the things that they stole, 2 cars, some money, some jewelry, to Jay Prince. Jay Prince politely, because I watched the video, he politely went on Instagram and said, hey, I have your material that was stolen from you. Reach out to me and so that you can get it. This fool responds back, I'm a G. I get my own stuff back. Nobody needs to get my stuff for me. Apparently you can't, brother. I ain't trying to be funny, but apparently you can't get your stuff back. So that was in response to NBA YoungBoy. And it goes back to, I know we all kings and queens and everybody's prideful, but listen, opening your ear to an OG ain't gonna hurt you. Like, hey, you got my cars back for me? Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, it's really that simple. So Jay Prince is not playing around, but he is upset at the way that he was responded to. But it goes back to what we talked about on rollingout.com, which Amir wrote a great story. There is a separation between old school hip hop and new school hip hop that for some reason doesn't allow them to respect the people that came before them. So any thoughts?
I don't know if I agree with that premise. I understand where you're coming from, and that he did try to help out and clean up the situation. But the thing is that he was saying, NBA YoungBoy was saying that if he was a real OG, he could have just there's a million people that he could have got in contact with to get in touch with NBA YoungBoy and let him know that he had a stolen material, instead of putting it on Instagram, which looks like to NBA YoungBoy as a clout chasing activity endeavor. So he thought that he was just trying to floss that he had all this clout in Texas and in Houston, and instead of contacting him man to man and returning the stuff, he went international with it by putting it on Instagram. And NBA YoungBoy didn't appreciate that. Plus, it wasn't the cars that were stolen; it was the car keys, because they bungled the burglary. Right. And he has a second pair of car keys because he bought his stuff in cash, so they gave him extra set of keys. So he didn't really need for Jay Prince to return it anyway, because he already got his keys and they never got the cars. So they didn't steal the cars. It was a bungled burglary.
So you saying clout? You saying it was a clout? You think?
No, I'm saying from NBA YoungBoy's perspective, it was a clout chasing endeavor that he should have contacted him person to person, went to him through one of his associates, because he said there's so many people that they know that they know together in Houston, that they have a common friends, common associates, that he could have gotten his personal phone number and called him and say, "Hey man, come get your stuff. I had the boys return it." NBA YoungBoy says, "Man, I would have respected that more because it would have been handled behind the scenes instead of going on and putting on a production on Instagram." This is NBA YoungBoy's perspective.
Wait, you know what's so crazy about that, King James? And I was actually thinking about this 2 weeks ago. It's kind of it's a what's the big? I'm trying to use a big word. It's a conundrum, because a lot of people will go on social media, rah 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 rah, right? But then when social media turns around on them, all of a sudden, oh man, this could have been done in private. This could have been da 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 da. The same thing with the 6ix9ine. The same thing when rappers get called out for something. It's always when you're the bully. When you're the bully, you can be loud as hell. But the moment that somebody starts bullying back, hey man, you could have talked to me like a man. Nah, brother. Nah, I couldn't. Because you don't even approach the situation like a man. I like NBA YoungBoy music, but Cass, even on social media, he on there at least once a week with something crazy. So, hey,
I never said that NBA YoungBoy was right and that Jay Prince was wrong. I was just giving NBA YoungBoy's perspective, and that he said it should have been handled through back channels instead of going on an international platform like Instagram, where people in London and people in Australia can hear that he not only got his stuff stolen, but that he got it back for him. So yeah, he was just saying
he definitely could have reached out in another way. Like I'm sure he had someone who had his contact for sure.
I mean, they both live in Houston. They got common friends.
Yeah,
common associates.
Being in the industry, for sure.
And that froze you a little bit, didn't it, Romeo? We got you, didn't we?
Like, I live in Atlanta. I can't go on Twitter. Got you.
No, it's just a matter of he's gone, but it's just a matter of if me and Romeo and somebody say, we have common associates, and if I don't know his phone number, that I can get in touch with him there, I'm not going to let him know. I'm not going to personally. Now, I'm not saying that NBA YoungBoy is not a knucklehead, because he is, and he got a lot of issues mentally and emotionally. The dude is like left of center. He's leaning 12:30. But in this particular situation, I really do have to take his side. You don't do an Instagram production to let somebody know that they got their stuff stolen, because it kind of makes NBA YoungBoy look kind of soft and vulnerable to another attack, because this isn't the first time that this house has been broken into.
Right.
And I think this goes back. I definitely want to touch on Kodak. I think there's similar points. Like Kodak went on Instagram and made an apology. Nipsey's no longer with us, so you're apologizing to him after the fact. And Lauren London, you tag her on Instagram, but it's like you could pick up the phone and call her. Like you could have a sincere apology. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and she seems
not to say he didn't mean sincere, but he wasn't being sincere. But like, you could literally pick up the phone and say everything you typed on Instagram if you truly wanted to. He
can't make national calls in prison.
True. You're right. He is in prison. But
how's he on
Instagram? Yeah. So I guess he told somebody. He must have told whoever is running his Instagram, or maybe he's on Instagram. I don't know. Whoever.
Well, what happened is that Kodak Black is producing songs and messages through his people. They would come to the prison, and then they were recorded, or he would call them on the phone, and he would drop his bars, or he will drop a message, and then they will put it on the Instagram page.
Yeah, but then I just think like, dang, this is over a year after.
More than a year, yeah.
Died. So it's like
it took him that long to come up with that apology.
When people were saying you were wrong,
and Cash, you can make calls in prison. People make calls in prison. Don't let Terry tell you that people can't make calls in prison. They make calls all the time. No,
what I'm saying.
Calls. He could actually make a call.
Right.
People know how to there are a lot of guards who are able to pay for their car notes because they made a call. They let a call be made. They let a call be made.
Well, we're talking about Okay, I know, but we're talking about orthodoxy here in Munson. We're talking about
that's orthodox. They got our brothers pin up. They're making money off of them. They charge them extra for those calls that they got to call for their family members. There are plenty of family members who answer calls every day, pay more for calls, pay more for email.
No, I understand. I understand that. I'm saying in this particular,
you told Cash he couldn't make a call because he was in prison. Then you
got no. What I'm saying is, it's a lot.
I just didn't like what you said to it, Terry. How you doing, man? You know how you do us on this stuff, but you know how we do it. Come on, Terry. It's we always doing it, man. You know you do it.
No, yeah.
I miss you, Steve. I miss you, man. We can't even argue over coffee or nothing. Damn, boy, I tell you, it's COVID. It's Corona, got it. We can't go have no dinners. Can't ride to Detroit. Can't hang out in LA. Talk about people in their cars getting stolen. Who cares? I really don't even care. My mayor got Corona. I'm praying for her. Ricky Smiley's daughter got shot. I'm praying for her. I don't care about nobody in their apology at this moment because you late. It was hateful then. It was hateful then. I don't know. I'm all about the positivity, man. You're right, T. I don't know. You just need to be in prayer. It's a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a moment. The community is suffering.
Yeah, well, this situation is certainly shucking up Romeo. He is he's having a conniption right now, so we're going to bear with him and spread some prayer in Romeo's direction because he needs prayer. Oh, but yeah, and I know it's the weather is bad in Atlanta, but we got it yesterday. So bear with us, our audience, if we are headquartered here in Atlanta, in Georgia, and the storm is just tearing the things up around here. We're going to do the best that we can to entertain you, and we're going to do the best we can to uplift you and edify you and educate you here at Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call. So just bear with us for today, just for the day. Thank you very much.
Definitely. But we don't want to, we don't want to discourage people from redemption and apologies. So I'm not saying you shouldn't, but just right your wrongs when you're wrong.
I mean, Kodak, he should have apologized. It should not have taken a year. And he could have developed, if it was going to take a year, he should develop a damn near a book on the apology. Like he should have had a chapter's worth of something real. And because Lauren London is not Nunu, because you know how you think that people are like their characters. She ain't nothing like Nunu. And so she is such a down-home, conscious, woke woman that a sincere apology would have went a long ways towards somebody like Lauren London. You know what I'm saying? So
I've gotten that I think it's kind of like the people wearing blackface and being paid for it. Apologies with a check. Like you really sorry and you got all this, then write a check. If that's the case in terms of, especially when you're a huge celebrity and you make money off of our pain and you think apology is atonement, it's not. Not when you make money off of it. So I'm with you guys.
It's 9 o'clock.
I think it's critical, Terry, what you're saying. And I think the apology just needs to be real in the form of something real. The other thing is, what did you atone in explaining the whole idea of what you've learned from what you've done and how it is inappropriate to do what you did. And I just didn't find that to be clear.
Right. No, I didn't find it to be clear either. I just thought that it was sloppy, just like the situation with Jay Prince handing back, letting NBA YoungBoy know that he got his stuff. I thought it was sloppy. What do you think, Treva? Okay, thank you. I can hear you loud and clear, even though you're on mute. You know what I'm saying? Work that magic, work that magic. Speak through the mute situation.
There
There
you
you
go.
go. There you go.
Good
So what do you
morning.
think?
guys.
Hey, how you doing? So what do you think of the
Morning.
Kodak? What do you think about the Kodak Black apology?
I agree. I think, things without, I just have a lot of feelings about I think the level of, what was the word I want to use? Ignorance, but not in the sense that people believe ignorance to be, but, ignorance and just not knowing and understanding and having a sense of self, that form of ignorance. I think a lot of this stuff is derived from.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Well, anyway, thank you for our prestigious guest today for coming to us, Treva Williams. She is the showrunner for Love in Hip Hop Hollywood, one of the nation's most popular reality TV programs, and she's the one handling her business. She's the one controlling it. You know what I'm saying? So why don't you take a moment, because you're near and dear to my heart, because I was in the Air Force and you were in an inferior branch, but you still served. And so
yes, I served for 8 years. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. Was 71 Lima, 71 Charlie, my MOS, which for everybody else that means military occupational skill. I went into the military at 17, was there till I was about 25, and it was the best decision I ever made for my life. It was truly, I believe you have two forms of formative years. You have your initial from that 0 to 5, and then that age range of going into adulthood. And so in my young adulthood life, my formative years were formed through discipline, through structure, through the military. So I loved my time. It wasn't easy, a lot of stuff wrong with the military, but my time for me, it's the foundation of who I am. And it has been the launching pad for all that I've been able to do in my life and career.
Okay. So that is a long trajectory from the United States military.
But it all matches though.
Huh?
It all matches though.
No, it does. That's a long trajectory. And we're going to get to that, how you got to be the showrunner for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? That is, on the surface, it seems like a long ways away. So we wanted you to take, so we wanted to see.
Does, but again, it's all rooted in discipline, right? So in order to be able to, my job is executive producer of talent, and that is kind of what I did. I oversaw all talent relations, talent things, and so. But my discipline, my structure, all of those things. In the beginning, when I got into television, I didn't believe that I was creative, because I always thought creative to me always was in synonymous with chaos, and I think in bullet points. But once I learned that logistically, that's what you needed to do. Logistics was what was needed for producing. That's how I was able to take all of those skills from organization to discipline to management of people. You learn that being a platoon leader and all those things, and translated that into every career. And that was from administration to marketing to advertising to music executive to now television executive. So it all things worked for my good when it all was said and done.
Okay, I have another question, but I'm gonna pass the ball to my colleague here, Cass in the City. Do you have a question for Treva Williams?
No, absolutely. I just wanted to kind of expand on your journey to becoming this showrunner for, and how you got there. You talked about these formative years, but what were, kind of take us a little bit through that journey. I know it wasn't quick and bulleted, but just kind of take us to how you got there.
How I got there first. So after military, I ended up in Atlanta, was raising was married again, raising my family here in Atlanta, which landed me into advertising and marketing. And during the 90s, Atlanta became a hotbed for music. I was working with Morocco advertising agency in Burrell and different ones. So we started synergizing. I worked for brands like Coca-Cola and McDonald's. And then we started synergizing with the local Atlanta talent, which were music people. Ran into a music producer one time that I happened was doing a bed for a thing, and marrying said producer. We've been married now and together for almost 24 years. But his life musically took over my life, with him being my husband. And then our son got into music. My son got into, was a big Christian hip hop gospel artist from the time he was 12 till he was like 19, which then got me into a gospel arena, which connected me to Mary Mary. I was connected to Mary Mary via My first real industry job was with Holly Davis Carter, who has a plethora of Relevate Entertainment, and then I ended up working directly for Mary Mary, and was their executive administrator. And then so I was with them during the time that they were approached to do a reality TV show on WeTV, Mary Mary. And I was their day-to-day person and all of that kind of thing. And what I learned was we were having, because producers don't always know the world in which we come from. And when you think music, and then you couple that with gospel, these people had no idea how to relate, how to deal with the talent. And the talent were my talent. They were the girls. So I transitioned into a producer world behind the scenes in order to kind of keep the, bridge the gap between the ladies and the production company. So I ended up doing Mary Mary for 3 seasons. The next thing I know, I had another opportunity thanks to, and all of my thing has been connections. I believe, I've always connected. Issa Rae said this thing, and sometimes we look to network up and outside, but my connections have always come from the circle and within the parameters that I'm in. So it's always a side to side person. So a good friend, Phil Thornton, he suggested, he's like, listen, I have this show, you'd be the perfect person for it. Next thing I know, I am, senior producer for R&B Divas Atlanta, R&B Divas LA. And then the opening came up in Hollywood. They were coming to Hollywood. And my person that had me at R&B Divas suggested that I follow him to Love and Hip Hop. Then, 5.5 seasons later, I, worked my way up the rep. And all of that, my TV production started in the end of 2011, beginning of 2012 with Mary Mary. And now, in 8 years' time, well, in less than 8 years' time, I became an executive producer. And I've done everything, like I said, from R&B Divas Atlanta, LA. I did Marriage Boot Camp. I've done, something on own. I did a Gladys Knight special, which was like the pride and joy of my life. I loved working with Miss Gladys. It was amazing. Love and Hip Hop is a treasure to my heart. I started that franchise out with Mona Scott Young and her team and followed it through. And then I, as recently, was working with Black Ink Compton. I took over that city. I kind of became a fixer in the world because, again, for me, I related it to my people skills and my people management skills, as long as my discipline. And so I've been doing that. And then that's kind of now, life is about transitions and rolling, but I think it always speaks to whatever your core foundational gifts are within you. So, from that, I'm not, I'm still producing television, but, now I'm a certified life coach as well, taking all of that, what I do and kind of spread it.
All right.
Incredible.
And that's what's up. Before I go to our publisher, you are now watching Star Studio and rolling out AM Wake Up Call. And we're talking with Treva Williams, showrunner for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. And we'd like to move to our publisher rolling out, Mr. Munson Steve. Did you have a question for Treva at this particular juncture?
Thank you, Dr. First James, King James, Terry Shropshire. Welcome to Star Studio. We really appreciate the executives that come on to share their intersection, their stories, so that our community can have access. So we really appreciate you coming on and rolling out. If you would just describe for the audience, because it's a big deal, you're a big deal.
Oh, thank you.
No, you really are, because when we talk about it, we don't always celebrate first. And you had a lot of first. Yes. And we need more first in Hollywood. And what you're able to now share with others in our community, demand for others is important. So tell people what a producer and a showrunner is so that they have an idea of how powerful it is.
A producer is a person that takes all of the elements and pulls them together to make, I always tell my talent, because when you have an ensemble show, it's like 16 to 32 people on one show, and they're hyper focused on their portion of that. So it's really a jigsaw puzzle. It's being able to take all of the pieces of people's individual stories and putting them together and finding a common thread or theme throughout the season that ties them all together. And it's about learning people's 6 degrees of separation, what their commonalities are, what their differences are, and how to make all of that entertaining and true at the same time. And I'm really big on that. That isn't something that everyone is big on, but it is for me. There has to be truth in your story, and it has to be rooted in some form of truth for you, or it will never come off authentic. An audience buys into authenticity. Even if we don't agree with what you're doing and how you're doing and living your life, if we feel that who you are and what you are about is coming from a true and authentic place, we can feel for you, sympathize, empathize, and even root for you in certain ways. So as a producer, you take all of those elements and then logistical parts, because, there's always a machine running behind that. So it's like, you got to make sure that the talent is good, but you also have to make sure that the people that are in the trenches with you every day, that they are good, that their needs, that their needs are being met, that they're being heard, they're being understood, they're being valued in their place, being able to identify that a person may be in this role one day, but where you can even have to be able to see the trajectory of your team. Well,
let me ask you this. Is producer, the word producer, because we're talking semantics here, is the word producer and showrunner, are those interchangeable terms?
Well, it's a level. It's a level. You come in as a producer.
There's levels to this game, huh?
Yeah, there's always levels to every game. You come in the game as a production assistant. Most people, their trajectory, you become an associate producer. Then you might become a producer, a senior producer. But once you get into once you get outside of production assisting, that's when you start to find where your niche is. So you might be a producer that's more behind the scenes, and you become a line producer or production manager. That means you're dealing with the numbers, the equipment, the budgets, and all of that. So there's their type of producer. And then there's the story producer, where all they do is come up with the ideas, the scenes. And then there are the field producers, right? And they're in the field, literally capturing the scenes that were created and generated. And then there are the talent producers, and their job is to make sure that while in the field and all of that, that the talent is connected, that they're sharing, they're talking. And then when you become to an executive producer level, you have touched, work, or have a keen understanding of all of those areas, and you are the person that is running that ship and making everybody flow together, if you understand. So it's producers, and then there's the executive producer, and then there's showrunner. For me, to be honest, I'm considered, but I was never a showrunner. I am an executive producer of talent, because I executive produce people. Is how I view it.
So you're picking the people who are on the show. You're selecting them. You're working with them.
In the beginning, I was a part of the casting, because there's also a casting producer. So in the first couple of seasons, I was in between seasons, I was actively the casting producer. That gets very heavy, because the people that don't get picked, next thing you know, everybody in the world got your phone number, because you've had to contact these people, and then they call you all season and wonder why they didn't.
No.
And then I'm the person on the, having to work with them. So I removed myself from casting actively, probably around the third season. But in the final casting process, as the executive producer, I did have a say once it got wheedled down to certain perspectives. And then my job, once they said, casting team said, hey, these are the people we're considering, then I have to look at it from a seasonal point. Like, where can I plug this person in? When is the best place to introduce them? What do they have in common? What are their, who are they, their antis against, all of that, and then bring it in and figure out how to best utilize them. And then you work with the talent to figure out what's the best story for the season to tell, and what's the most important to get across.
Williams?
Yes.
Now, Ms. Williams, this is Romeo International and stuff.
Hey, Romeo International.
I'm glad you're here this morning, because we got to talk. Okay.
What we got to talk about.
All right. So last year, I was asked to be a part of the Atlanta series. Now, I want you to look at his face now. Look at his face. You see his face. I was asked to be a part of the Atlanta series, but I turned them down because I was like, nah, I want to go to Hollywood and stuff like that. So me and you going to have to talk about that. But
see, if you're from and you live in Atlanta, why would you come to Hollywood? Your connections, but see, that's what I'm saying. That's what people think. People think, oh, I just want to go to LA. But if you don't have any connections and any relationships with that, you'll find yourself on a cast and you'll never film a scene.
Well, see, you missed the international part.
Boom.
Sometimes you gotta rock your block, Romeo. Sometimes you gotta rock your block. You understand?
Rock your block.
Sometimes you gotta stay where you're at to get where you're trying to go. Sometimes
he trying to deny his neighborhood. He trying to deny his neighborhood.
So let me ask you this. As oh, here we go. Am I still on here? Cool.
Yes, you're still here.
So as a woman in the industry, right? What would you say has been your most challenging hurdle?
That was a good pivot. Good pivot, Romeo.
The most challenging hurdle that I feel like any woman, and especially a Black woman, faces in the industry or any area that I've been in, from military to corporate to now, is having to manage my personality, or and for me, once I got older and wiser and realized that I don't have to manage my personality, and learn how to, because I'm a very straightforward, clear woman, right? And so I had to learn, when you're younger and words are thrown at you, oh, you're so intimidating, you're so this. But then when you get to a certain space and place in your life, you realize, no, I'm not intimidating, you are intimidated. And that is not my issue, that is yours. Okay? And you're not going to call me aggressive because I'm speaking my mind. I get to assert how I feel into any situation that you are including me in.
Dang, you are preaching right now.
So that's the biggest hurdle challenge, because you battle, and especially again as a Black woman, because, again, I'm gonna say what I feel. I don't want anyone speaking for me. If whether I'm right, wrong, or indifferent, they're going to be my words, right? You're gonna hear me. So it's like fighting that voice in your head, like, because it's better, you don't want to be the angry Black woman. And I was like, well, it's their fault if they perceive me to be angry just because I'm speaking up and saying what I feel to be right. And also in production, because with reality TV, we're not a 24-hour follow doc. We don't have cameras with you. So we are scripting scenarios, right? We will put you in situations and we record how you really react in those scripted scenarios, right? Like, you may not go have lunch with the girl you really don't like, but we're going to tell you to have lunch with her. But how you act at that lunch is up to you. One of the main struggles is, and because again, I am a Black woman in reality TV, we control this space. It's our talent that's mostly on TV. So finding that thing to make sure that I stick true to my integrity, and I'm not doing anything just for the sake of television and to give some network executive or some producer or somebody above me, or even in ranks with me, we need to juice this up. Was that how they really feeling? Is that what they're really doing? Because I'm not going to create drama for them. Now, listen, if your life is like World Star Hip Hop all day without me, and my cameras is on, then listen, I'm coming. Like, you can't, because for me, you can't live a life on the show and then have this other crazy life on Instagram. Like, sis, what happened this weekend? We got to talk about this. But I also won't create your drama and mess for you. If that's not really what's happening in your life, I'm not going to create that. So the challenge is being in a room sometimes, and you're the only one that looks like you, and having the integrity to know that I have to say something. And that's even at the lower position. Like, that was before I had to make that decision, before I became an executive producer, because if I didn't speak at that level, I would find myself at this level being okay to create the things that I was bothered by silently back when I was an associate producer. So even at an associate producer level, if something, I was like, no, that's not how that goes. That's not how she feels. That's not how she should be represented. And I'm not just a no person without a solution. I'll tell you no and give you an alternative to something, but you're going to hear me. So that's the kind of biggest challenge, because then you have to battle. She always got something to say, because this is how meetings would start. So I'm going to say my idea, and I know Treva isn't going to like it. Listen, sis, you got to be confident within yourself. You can't be putting that on me.
Don't preface.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. If you say, like, you're having lunch with somebody that you don't like on the show, and you're telling them to do that, but can that be constituted as reality TV? Isn't that not scripted?
Well, yeah, it is, because we're not putting you in a conversation with someone that you don't have an issue with, right? You're talking. You've been in 4 other scenes talking about Mary Sue. Okay. You got an issue with Mary Sue.
Okay.
We're gonna give you the
At some point, you got to go have lunch with Mary Sue and tell this girl yourself.
Okay, gotcha.
So we like to avoid, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's, and the talent department, what we do is everything that comes is conversations we're having with you. That's again how I'm folding in the life coach, because I spend a lot of time on the phone with these people and them telling me about their problems with their mama, their daddy, all their children, their job, what they're trying to do. So it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do about that issue? Because you can't even be successful over here because you too worried about what she's doing, or you're still in this hurt place with her. Like, you got to deal with that.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you in of your own volition, if you were at odds with somebody or had an issue with somebody or were hurt by someone, you wouldn't necessarily volunteer for lunch with them.
Okay.
But if I say, listen, today's the day, you need to
Okay.
sit down and y'all need to have this conversation. Now, for me, in my city, Hollywood, we were the first city to, and Mona Scott Young was very pivotal in this, that where with the violence, we started fining people. Like, you throw something, you hit somebody, you about to lose some money out your check because you need to use your words. Because what I tried to embed in my talent in Hollywood, especially, and then when I went to the other cities like New York, my thing was, combat doesn't mean this. You ain't got a fist fight because we're in a combative situation. Just like resolution doesn't mean hug and kisses, right? So we could be at odds with each other and not have to fight, and it's just a war of the words, right?
Right.
Then also we could sit down and resolve. And our resolution could be, when we finish, I don't fool with you and don't ever speak to me again. That is the resolution that I've come
and you
to
gave that don't mess with me again look. You gave just
you know
now.
what I'm saying?
You
So
see that?
when we in this tea, understand, we finished. And you didn't have to hear it from nobody else. You know directly from me that I no longer fool with you.
Okay, were you looking at Romeo, or were you looking at me with that look?
I know. I like who you fight.
Let's talk about that, because here on Star Studio, we really want to talk about self-care in the entertainment industry. It is literally
necessary.
Mental Health Month for all of us in the community. How can we begin self-care practices that will generate forgiveness, that will generate being able to communicate in a healthy way, to really develop friendships versus careships?
Well, I say this, the self-care, it has to be that. It has to start from self, because usually, again, people, there are bad people that do things to you on purpose. But usually when you're in conflict, it's to hurt and damage people and traumatize people that are facing each other in conflict. So if I take the time to deal with what is it about me that I see in you that's bothering me so much, and I get to dealing with that, I'll be less bothered by that. And I'll be more willing to be like, sis, I know where that's coming from because of this. I say all the time, I value friendship now I'm 52. I value friendship now. But that's been
you make 52 look good, by the way.
Thank you. That's been a practice thing, because in my 20s and my young teens, I was not a good friend. I didn't know how to be, because I wasn't a good friend to myself. I was afraid of who I was. I was insecure about how I looked, how I sounded, how I came from a traumatized background as a young girl growing up with an abusive mother. So when you come from that, I don't know how to be your friend, sis. I don't really know how, because I'm not friends with the girl in the mirror every day. So I have to pick out everything. So that's where the self-care comes in. And self-care is a moment by moment thing. Sometimes self-care is, for me on set, I walk off and I just take a walk, or there are certain things I do in the morning. I have a rule, like, you can't call my phone before 6:30 a.m. I have Mona Scott Young is my best friend and one of my bosses sometimes, and she likes to ring your phone super early, and I had to put a rule in place. And she's my boss. I said, I cannot talk to you before I talk to Jesus. I need.
Amen.
I need, don't call me before, because I wake up with my mind racing, right? So if I'm already like this, and then I get to set as the executive producer, and then I'm engaging with talent who are already hypersensitive and traumatized, and I bring all of that in, then I'm no good to them to help them decipher through there. So it's a self-reflection, and it's moment by moment. Whatever moment you need to take throughout the day, you take it. And again, when you're dealing with us as people in the industry, it's an inward look. It's rock your block. You have to start with yourself. Then you start with your house. Then you start with your circle, then you start and it goes out and it goes out and it goes out. And it's a repetitious and empathetic, long-time journey. It's recycling. And sometimes you start back from one and then you go again. And you go again.
That's what's
giving
up.
The,
You know
giving
what?
the gems this morning.
Yeah, you're right. I have thoroughly enjoyed your presence here, Treva, this morning. You are the star. You are the exemplification of star in Star Studio on Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call. So we want to thank you for taking your time to bless us.
Thank you for having me.
And tell us where people can get in contact with you. I know you're on social media somewhere.
Yes.
Give us something.
I'm on social media. I'm at my personal page is at Miss Rock 68. My business page, which is Live in Truth Coaching. That's also my other Instagram page. I have my new coaching company, which is Live in Truth, and truth means total, restorative, uncompromisable, transformative healing. We all have to live in truth. And that is my goal and journey to be able to spread that and do that. I use it in my producing practices. I use it in my own life. And now I'm on a journey to, walk one-on-one with people to get them to that place. At Miss Rock 8, is the sassy, funny me. You'll find out, you'll see my husband, my kids, my grandkids. That's my, my pop-off page. Might be a little pop-off over there too on Living the Truth, because we got to still tell truth over there. But, that's where you can find me. I love social media. I love being on it. I really enjoyed you guys.
No, thank you for coming on.
Thanks so much for coming. We appreciate you here. You'll have to bring us up on Hollywood because we need a little relationship. And every now and then pop in on Rolling Out AM, just kind of coach us through so that people can find. Because people know how to use coaches in their lives. It's exactly. And this is a great time to tap into a coach so that you have time, to sit up and to develop a relationship while you're there. So thanks so much for that.
You're welcome. It's reset time. And I've been a fan from Rolling Out magazine since its inception. Like I said, I raised my children in Atlanta. I've always been a fan. Love the magazine. Love that you guys are taking this platform digitally and constantly keeping it going and evolutional.
Yeah, had a big month online, about 5 million people, about 4 million people come a month. So, I mean, well on.
Romeo in the corner talking about some, They're coming to see you, Mr. International. They come.
Yo, fire.
Mr. International.
What part of Atlanta you was from? What part of Atlanta
you from? Block.
Man, get this boy apart in one of those films.
Come on, Zone 4. What you talking about?
Oh, Lord. See, there you go. That's a problem. That's a problem right there.
Here, repping Zone.
I mean, when I came in, I started at Fort McPherson, which is amazing because my last duty station is now Tyler Perry Studios.
Dang!
I started off on
now that is something.
Yes, and then but once I got married again and raised my kids, we were on the east side. But I started off on College Park, Riverdale area.
You took the east side to LA. I see what you
did. At the heart, though, I'm a Creole girl. I'm from New Orleans. I'm from that 9th Ward, and that's what you go get all day. You understand?
Love it.
All right.
Give Mona our best. Tell us to come visit us. Tell Mona to come visit.
I will.
Tell her we send her some love. Thank
you guys.
And from one soldier to another, thank you for serving our country.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Take care.
God bless you all. Bye-bye.
See what happens when y'all bring the east side to Rolling Out.
That was great.
Nobody was shooting a shot, but somebody was definitely auditioning today.
Oh man, let me tell you something.
Every day is something, y'all.
Tell you something, man. Life, let me tell you, Mustard Steve said it best yesterday. Life is short. Y'all better start living. Yeah, I think he said something.
Man.
No, and I'm so glad that she touched upon the mental health and being a life coach, and that she was very transparent about what she came from. And so, but thank you. We have our next guest here on Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call, and I pass the ball to Munson Steed, our publisher.
Oh, thanks so much, Terry Shropshire, and welcome to Rolling Out, our beautiful Miss Johnson. How are you?
I'm good. It's early though. I'm on the West Coast. But I was ready when Mrs. Williams was talking. I was like, I'm so glad I logged in early because that was dope.
Well, we're excited for you to be on here this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Please introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about you.
Yeah, so my name is Kim Johnson. I'm a young adult author. I have a book coming out this summer called This Is My America. It's a book basically that is The Hate You Give Meets Just Mercy, and it focuses on our all the issues that are going on right now around thinking about our criminal justice system. And I'm also an administrator, so I work at universities. I've worked at universities for about 20 years, mentoring and working with Black students and activists, and I've been an activist almost all my life. So, so yeah, that's who I am.
Absolutely. Well, this is my America. Is very relevant, like you said, to everything that's going on right now. But obviously, you didn't just write it. So tell us a little about the inspiration, behind this book.
Yeah, so I started writing this about 6 years ago, just as a concept, or right around the time that Black Lives Matters movement was just sort of birthing itself. My students were really active in trying to work on demands within our particular community. And what I found was a lot of the conversations that we were talking about in the media was just on police brutality. And I think those of us that know that that's just a sliver of when we think about our criminal justice system. And I had been writing for a while, and it wasn't until Eric Garner's situation happened, and my son at the time was 6 years old, and he was sort of coming down the stairs, and we had the news on, and he saw the video footage, and immediately he was like, what are they doing? Like, why aren't they stopping? And to me, that actually was really the pivotal moment that I felt that I needed to use my platform as writing to actually touch upon these issues. And so I started writing, and it wasn't until I actually read Bryan Stevenson's Just Mercy, and the way that his narrative form of telling his own story was so humanizing that I felt like I could use that model in trying to speak to young people about what are the experiences of actually families who have, had touch points, with our criminal justice system and even were wrongfully incarcerated. And so really what I did in my writing was I really wanted to thread the story and still be very relevant in issues of police brutality, but really try to show like the generational cycle that actually can occur. Say there is an actual interaction with police brutality, but you're targeted, you're arrested, you go through our criminal justice process, you have representation. What does that look like? What does a jury look like? What does your sentencing look like? And then what does that cycle happen when you're a father and then you have kids that you're raising? How does that touch their life? And so really that's sort of what I really wanted to thread without my storytelling.
Absolutely. And we have our publisher, Munson Steed, on, who's also an author, and Romeo International. So Munson, please.
I think Romeo often talks about his interaction and anxiety related to the police. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of our young people have anxiety. When you talk about being a young adult author, I think that's really important, that mothers and parents are able to access. What can parents and teachers glean from your story?
I really try to focus my lens so that the main reader that I was talking to.
Excuse me, one thing. You're a giant, you're on Rolling Out. There are words that are, you get a ticket. You get a ticket when you hear. You're not trying, sister. You have finished your book. We don't use the word try.
Yeah, what I done did in the situation.
Right, there you go. See, you don't get to try in front of us. You want to try. We don't try. See,
I like that.
You don't woke up early when you get with me and Cass and Romeo. You're a mother. Try.
Yes.
They tried to stay at that job. You done stayed at the job in spite of. Mm-hmm. Attitudes and microaggressions, anyhow.
Thank you. I lean on my humbleness too much, but yeah, what I did in my book was I really wanted to speak to young people who are the ones that are questioning what is happening. And then for the rest of sort of my audience and readers, I really wanted them to see themselves in a lot of different characters. So I play on this a lot in my writing is, at any moment, your life can change. right? That flip of that switch that, you know, your life might be on a certain path, but then something sort of pivots and hits it. And so I really try to have, I had characters, see, I'm gonna work on that. I had characters that modeled each other. And so you could sort of see the different paths that they had went on, whether it was from the fathers that I have in the story or the young men that I have in the story, or even two women, some of my main characters that have in the story. And I think for, you know, a lot of parents now, I think are starting to pay attention, as we can see, as like books are starting to sell out. I think before it was just a conversation that, you know, it was something that us as Black people needed to worry about, and everyone else is fine, you know. And when I was doing, you know, my writing, things that I think about as a mother of 2 kids and my son who just turned 13 now, is that, you know, in my community, I actually don't live in a community that has a high Black population. And so when my son has friends, if he goes out and hangs out with his friends, I want to know that they know the things that they can do. My son will have a different kind of interaction. And so I think that's why it's so important for teachers and parents, you know, to read my story, pick up my story, but then pick up other kinds of works to understand what's happening, you know, not only with the Black experience, but like, we're human, you know, what do we love? What do we enjoy? You know, what do we dream about? So that we can, instead of turning it into bodies, right, that they see us, you know, on TV and only care about when we're bleeding and dying, but what about when we're living and wanting to, you know, experience all our joys in life? So
let me switch something for you. You think you slick? I got you. So my question is, when it comes to your writing style, right? Mm-hmm. Because you have to take all these stories in, and you have to process all these stories in, and these feelings and these emotions in. Like, how do you take all of that in and release that? You know, because it has to be a lot at mm-hmm. times. Mm-hmm. So with your writing style, like how does that work?
Yeah, you know, I actually see writing as therapy. You know, I see it as, you know, there's so many things that are going on in the world, and it's, you know, if you want to make impact, sometimes you almost feel helpless in a way. And so for me, writing was therapeutic. It is important, I think, for self-care. I think even when you're reading, you know, works that have a deep emotional impact, or really like at the core of something that you sort of feel and connect to, you do have to sort of step away and find other joy so that you can sort of like balance that, because I think it's easy to sort of get into the dark of a situation. And so for me, when I was writing, I knew that if I was going to write a particular scene that was going to be emotional, especially for me as a mother, as I think about my kids, as I think about people that I know and have experienced, you know, situations that are similar to what's in my story, is that you do have to pace yourself. You do have to do something where, you know, if I had a hard scene that I was working on, I step away, you know, I do something that I enjoy. I go on a walk, I listen to music, I play with my kids, you know, me and my husband will go out to dinner or something like that. You know, I think it's so important. And I do think about, even right now, you know, the you know, people who are out there in the streets who are protesting, who are thinking about these issues, you know, I want people pushing as hard as they can, but you can't go 24/7. You can't, it's weeks. Mm-hmm. This is a marathon. You know, this is not, you know, this is not something that this is a moment in time that we have to be steadfast. We have to use, you know, terminology that's more radical than we ever have. If we actually want to really change things and not just, you know, reform it, right, slightly. And so that's why I do think it's important that, you know, you have to like tag team, you know, you have to sleep in one day, you know, you have to like do something that you enjoy, you know, you have to take care of yourself so that you actually can last through the long time. So.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk to you a little about the publication process and just kind of take us through that. What was it like for you? I know you said you wrote this 6 years ago, but what has the, you know, process been like for you for publication? This is your debut.
Yeah, I mean, the debut under a pandemic is not, you know, the business really. You dream about something and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can't go on tour. Oh, I can't, how am I going to, yeah, I do. The cover this is sort of the early edition ARC cover, but the cover's coming out soon. as the book comes out this month. But my publication, my process actually was over 9 years. I am not one of those people who is a traditional writer. There's a lot of people who, grew up, they wrote in their journals, they wrote their story, they sort of felt like writing was a space for them. They had teachers who encouraged them. I didn't have any of that. I'm a professional, I'm good at the work that I do, but I never saw myself as someone who was a writer. I saw myself as someone who, couldn't understand grammar. Like if you were to ask me where to place certain things, I couldn't actually articulate what that was, but I've always been a storyteller. I've always been, someone who has been creative or daydreaming in my mind. And I actually started writing when I was 32 years old. I'm 41 right now. And so my journey started at 32. And, I think that that actually was the best thing for my storytelling, because I'm not trying to fit a particular mold. Like the stuff that I do is really different in YA, the young adult, sort of genre, because, they fit certain models. You can talk about certain things. You can only have, focus on one particular theme. Like I'm trying to thread an entire experience in my storytelling. I actually use a lot of nonfiction works. I read a lot of James Baldwin. I look at our sort of like historical foundations of literary criticism and activism, and I actually use that as my foundation for writing. And so when I started, thinking about my book and writing my book, I sort of saw it as I would have a narrow audience, because what I'm doing is, it's not stuff that is necessarily supported in publishing, but it was a story that I knew that I needed to tell. And, for me, I really do believe that the universe sort of like pushes me, has placed me, that I do live a purpose-driven life. And I think that when I started my journey, that I was actually under a pandemic. I was supposed to have my book come out during this time period, and it was all sort of meant for that. And I looked for signs when I was writing. There were times that something would sort of like happen in our society, or in our current administration that we're in, and I would write something and I would question myself, like, man, people aren't going to believe this. And then something would happen and they'd be like, yeah, like I need to speak my truth. And so, when Childish Gambino came out with his This Is America, I called my agent, and my title of my book is This Is My America. I called my agent and I was like, the universe says we need to submit this to publishers right now. And she's like, what are you talking about? I said, the universe is telling me, like, people are ready. And, she's like, no, let's go in another round of revisions. And that's with publishing. It's just like, it's so slow, and I'm like, no, I was like, time, it's now. And we submitted a month later, and a couple of weeks later, I already had a deal with a publisher. And so I've just been ripping and running since then, working on my book and just getting it finalized and sort of ready to go. And that's, again, was another sort of like, I look at these sort of like, what's God telling me, what should I be paying attention to? And I think that that's how I've sort of stayed true to my writing and my journey.
Definitely. It's very relevant right now. I think we have the cover up for everyone, who hasn't seen it. We just want to show it. I love this, love this cover. Very beautiful. But just tell everyone.
Chuck Styles, a Black artist. Chuck Styles was the designer for this. He does amazing Black art. I think this is one of the first actual book covers that he's done. So I just, I want to just make sure people, look him up. Chuck Styles, STYLES. Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. Well, tell everyone where they can follow you, when the book will be released, and how they can get it.
Yeah, so I'm all social media at Casey Johnson Writes, website, Instagram, Twitter. My book comes out July 28th. You can pre-order it actually right now at any stores, but I like to support local bookstores in Atlanta. Brave and Kind is a bookstore that you can pick up this book at. So yeah.
We're all about Madu here in Atlanta and Cat Greenbrier, and then blackbookstore.com. which I happen to own. So we're gonna.
Oh, I'm sorry. Get your book at blackbookstore.com. I will be using that more often now.
much love to you. You're gonna have to come back once the book, so that we can kind of break it down. Maybe do a Sunday. I know we're starting our book club in August, so that'll be an exciting thing for rolling out books, and we're really proud of you.
Thank you.
I would like to share this with you, and then I'm gonna let you go. Toni Morrison didn't start out writing books.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody has a journey as a storyteller. And so you were in your purpose. Everything for us here is peace and purpose. When you're in your purpose, you live in your truth. And we know that this book is important. And the fact that you've been writing stories in your mind till you put it down. So journaling doesn't have to be what you just write down. Many of us journal in our minds, remember that moment, remember that story, remember that friend. So you've lived your purpose. There are lots of people that start at various times, but you've been an author and a storyteller, and now you're just giving birth to the stories that have forever lived in you. There's nothing, we don't diminish ourselves when we start this process to give light and stories that will live well beyond. So you're a gift giver and you're a healer. So it's appropriate now as it appropriate was before that we thank you for what you've given our community. And this is our America. So no, the agent wouldn't understand it at first, the publisher didn't understand it, but you and the universe understood it. So it's just mine. And even in the pandemic, you'll be able to push this for the next 20 years and it'll change lives of boys and girls who couldn't have had this story without your voice. So it is important. So James is thanking you. Toni is thanking you. We at Rolling Out are thanking you for all that you've given us in this, a voice that is our America. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Take care.
Thank you.
Man, that's a beautiful cover, though.
Yeah, I love that. I thought it was very, very beautiful.
Hey, Styles did it.
That's a spectacular cover.
Artwork matters. Why don't you give us a short there, King James? Let's go to it.
Go, James.
That's what's up. I mean, there's a lot going on, including a Florida politician who's calling Beyonce not black and saying that she and Patti LaBelle are part of the Illuminati and that Beyonce is really Italian.
Oh, please.
And he's I mean, this guy, he's a Florida politician. Well, not yet. Well, he's a politician, but he's running for a congressional seat in Florida. And his name is KW. I'm sorry. I was waiting for my report to come up. That's why I went to Beyonce, because Beyonce is not part of my report. I'm just, Portia's having a little fun with me today. That's what she's doing. But anyway, back to my report. Okay, finally. Prosecuted for filing a false report against the man on the right.
We're having some technical difficulties, Terry.
It's happening all over today. It's too.
Like we said, there's some storms going on, but that first report is actually Central Park Karen, Amy Cooper, who interfered with, a bird watcher in Central Park, actually falsely called the police on him and put on a whole act. She's actually about to be charged with filing a false police report in the 3rd degree. So there's, finally being some justice in that situation. So, we all watched that crazy video where she put on this whole theatrics. Terry, are you back?
Yeah. And thank you. I fumbled the ball on the way to the touchdown, and thank you for picking it up and running it in
for you, Coach. She scored.
You know what I'm saying? You could talk to the manager about getting a raise, but the man on the right is named Christian Cooper, and Christian Cooper, and the girl she's being charged with a misdemeanor. She has to appear in court in October for 3rd degree filing a false report. She's being prosecuted by the district attorney in the county of New York, which is also the city of New York, in the state of New York. So she's also been fired from her job. So you think you're having a bad 2020? Think about the the year that this woman is having, but it's all of her own doing. So she is getting her just desserts. So I don't wish any harm on her, but she is getting what she deserves. Anyway, on to the next report that we have for today. Unfortunately, as we know, most people know, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms has contracted COVID. She says she's been trying to be careful, but we found out last night that she has it, but now we know that her husband also has contracted COVID and that one of her 4 children have contracted COVID. Not all of the children have been tested. 2 more need to be tested. Hopefully they'll be negative, but 3 people in the Keisha Lance Bottoms household has it. So prayers up, blessings down for Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, our powerful mayor of the city of Atlanta. On to prayers up for Keisha. A report that just came out today is that Black-owned bank One United has been booming since the Black Lives Matters has been going on ever since Memorial Day, when George Floyd unfortunately was killed under the knee of Mr. Derek Chauvin of Minneapolis, a former police officer. And so ever since that time and the insurrection that has ensued, One United Bank said that they have experienced a 100% growth in transactions that have been going on inside their bank. So shout out to One United Bank for being there and being patient for us, for realizing that you even exist. So shout out to One United Bank for a watershed in business ever since the Black Lives Matter movement has been going on. Okay, Cash, listen, you need to go get your boy. Go get your boy in New York. 50 Cent is getting dragged all over cyberspace by Black women mostly for uplifting exotic women while simultaneously demeaning and denigrating the angry Black woman. And so he was talking to another person who was notorious for making disparaging comments about Black women, Lil Wayne, even though he has a dark-skinned daughter. And the dark-skinned daughter went on social media and said, I am exotic, I'm beautiful, I'm relevant, I matter. So that I think she was taking a shot at her own daddy and 50 Cent. And then, her mother went on and said, she just shook her head in an emoji. And then other celebrities went on and blasted 50 Cent and Lil Wayne for actually entertaining this. I mean, like, what are you think you're doing? So that was kind of a sad situation that in this time, during these turbulent times, when we're trying to uplift our people as a whole, and where Black women are probably the most denigrated demographic in America, the most disrespected, the most abused and used demographic in America, that we would have this kind of conversation going on from even 50 Cent. So I don't understand that. And so that is my report for today. I believe I have some more going on, but Portia decided not to let me finish out. But that's okay, Portia Mitchell. I'm going to be okay. I rebound quickly. Oh, now she wants to let me finish. Okay, so NFL news right now. Patrick Mahomes just signed the richest deal in all of sports history in America, a 10-year, $500 million deal, and with 140 of it guaranteed. So whether he plays another down, now to break that down for y'all, he is making $405 per minute. So every moment that goes by, this dude is making $400. That is just, that's mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. And then also in other NFL related news, exile quarterback Colin Kaepernick, and this is not on my report, exile quarterback Colin Kaepernick has signed a deal with Disney for a first look deal. So shout out to him because he already has a deal with Nike and now he has a deal with Disney. A lot of people, when I posted the story where he lambasted the 4th of July as a celebration of white supremacy, they said, number one, that he really doesn't want to play. And then number two, he's bigger than the sport. And number three, he's making too much money to play. Like, why go be a backup for $1 million a year like Cam Newton when you're already making tens of millions from your deals with Disney and with Nike? Those are two of the big intercontinental organizations or corporations in the country. So
check this out, King James. I got a slide for you. Did some homework, and it's going to show the ratio of white athletes in the sports and Black athletes. Now, this is going to blow y'all away. In NBA, 18% white. NFL, 27%. Major League Baseball, 59%. Figure that part. Soccer 38, WNBA 17%, sports editors though 85%, sports reporters 82%, and sports columnists 80%. So look at those numbers versus the athletes that are percentage African American or other versus the media end of it that is more white than other.
Yeah.
This blew me away.
Yeah, it doesn't blow me away because I experienced this ever since I was an intern back in Akron, Ohio, before I took my talents to Atlanta. And I was an intern at the Akron Beacon Journal. And I remember the strange looks I was getting, the strange feelings I was getting, the strange energy, because I was the only Black sports reporter. I wasn't a sports reporter. I was just an intern who happened to be covering a sports story. Tiger Woods had came to Firestone International Golf Club. And they were looking at me like I was an alien. And I'm thinking to myself, I belong here. And you know how I went about it. You know, I just stared back at him with this arrogant look. Like, what are you looking at? I belong here. He's a Black athlete. I'm a Black reporter. I belong here. So I understand that little dynamic, that the disconnect between the athlete and the people who cover the athlete, and why you have so much misunderstanding in America leading up to the day.
Yeah. So we're going to jump into positive thoughts of the day. I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna start it. My positive thought of today is fix your internet, people, because I don't know what's going on today, but it's just throwing me left. Cassidy wasn't ready for that one. But good energy, positive energy, only and post with a purpose. King James.
Yes. My positive thought of the day is basically to live your truth and to listen to that inner voice. I think an author talked about it. And also, Treva Williams, who's a showrunner for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, who's also a life coach. She talked about listening to that inner voice, listening to God, silence yourself, listen, hear what it says, and act. And you will break barriers and live your truth. That is my positive word of the day. And I pass the ball over to the person who picked up my fumble, Cassidy in the city.
For me, it's never too late to follow your dreams. I think that rang true with both of our guests today. So it's never too late. You can have a day-to-day job. You can also have a side hustle that is a passion of yours. So that's my positive thought of the day. Munson.
Hey, well, thanks to everybody. Thanks, Romeo. Thanks, James. Thanks, Cassidy. We've got a little bit of housekeeping in it today. We've got Health IQ, which is at 6. We're talking about mental health. So we've got great people coming on there. Obviously, the flyer for Health IQ is going to slide up, and then we'll see it. We can act like we're all looking at it right now. So anybody following us now can literally go by and see that, King James. I know you see it, King James. I'm seeing it right now. You're seeing it, so we can see it.
No. It's just that Portia Monique Mitchell has been a little prickly today. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. She must be on her feelings. I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But much love to Portia Monique, our producer, and she's about to put up that little flyer so that we can see it. The outstanding people that we have on there, including Shanti Das, who's a legendary music industry executive, and that she's now turned into a life coach and also an author about silencing the shame. And there's 2 other people on there as well that Mr. Steve can speak of.
Dr. Sherry Blakes, and of course, Dr. Kenyatta Stevens. All these is powered by ARP, but this is Health IQ, Black mental health. It's okay not to be okay. A real discussion starts at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we all want you to be there. Thanks so much, Portia Monique. Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Romeo. For me, positive thoughts is go to rollnot.com and get some real insight on our community. There is a ton of great jobs done by all of our team members. But at this moment, for all of those who are on the front line, for Ricky Smiley, whose daughter is in the hospital, for Keith Lance Bottoms, we just take a moment to pray. We're going to give 10 minutes of silence, or maybe 46 seconds of silence, but let's just take a moment of silence. Thanks everybody for this moment. We want to give thanks to our God for this day. This is a very costly movement. Keisha has been working very hard. It's a tough moment. So don't be reckless, but pray for all of those because we are in need of prayer. This is that moment. We don't want you to turn up, turn in, look inside.
It's 10 o'clock.
So we love you. Thanks for tuning in to Rolling Out AM, the wake up call. Thanks to Terry Shropshire. Thanks to Cass in the City. And thanks to Romeo International. I'm Muncie Steve. This is Rolling Out the wake up call. AM. Bam.
Take care.
Rolling out.com. Rolling out the funny. Rolling out health IQ. Rolling out post with positive thoughts. Rolling out, just rolling.